The drone flies over an open field and quickly identifies an enemy moving alone across the terrain. With no cover around him, the target remains fully exposed from above. The drone steadies its approach, adjusts the angle, and makes a clean, controlled dive that ends the movement on the ground. The drone approaches an enemy who fires upward, trying to hit it. The shots miss, and the drone delivers a quick, precise strike. The drone tracks a moving truck carrying enemy soldiers across an open stretch of road. Once the vehicle is centered in view, the drone stabilizes, lowers its angle, and dives straight toward the cabin. The impact disables the truck instantly and stops everyone inside. The drone observes an enemy lying motionless on the ground, attempting to appear incapacitated. For several seconds, the figure stays still, blending with the terrain. But a slight movement of the head reveals he is still conscious and trying to avoid detection. The operator adjusts the angle, confirms the activity, and guides the drone into a steady descent. A precise dive ends the attempt at deception. An enemy rides a quad bike across open terrain, trying to move quickly through the field. The drone locks on to the moving target, closes the distance from behind, and delivers a clean, precise strike that stops the vehicle instantly. The drone spots a group of 4 enemy soldiers moving together. It selects the closest one, aligns the approach, and makes a fast, precise strike that neutralizes the target while the others scatter. The drone hovers above an enemy lying in the grass. At first, the soldier appears inactive, trying to blend into the ground as if already neutralized. But subtle shifts in his posture reveal he is still conscious and attempting to deceive aerial surveillance. The drone lowers its altitude, aligns the trajectory, and finishes the encounter with a precise impact. The drone follows a narrow line of terrain and notices an unusual structure ahead, a concrete drainage pipe partly buried under soil and debris. When the camera stabilizes, movement becomes visible inside the dark opening. Enemy soldiers are hiding within the pipe, using it as cover to avoid detection from above. The operator holds position for a moment, watching the confined space. Suddenly, one of the soldiers bursts out of the pipe and tries to sprint toward nearby bushes. The drone reacts immediately, lowering altitude and adjusting the approach angle to maintain a direct line toward the fleeing target. With the open ground giving him nowhere to hide, the soldier continues running, but the drone closes the distance rapidly. A precise dive ends the escape attempt and clears the area, leaving the pipe position exposed and empty. The drone moves through a dense forest line, navigating between branches and shadows. Amid the trees, an enemy soldier becomes visible, partially hidden, moving cautiously along a narrow path. The operator confirms the silhouette and adjusts the drone's position for a controlled approach. The forest offers limited visibility, but from above, the target remains clearly exposed. The drone lowers its altitude, maintaining a stable trajectory as it aligns with the soldier's movement. In the final seconds, the aircraft accelerates and dives through the canopy, delivering a precise strike that ends the encounter. The drone approaches a cluster of ruined buildings scattered along the edge of a destroyed settlement. Broken walls, collapsed roofs, and piles of debris create dozens of hiding places, and the operators scan each opening carefully. After a short sweep, movement becomes visible inside one of the shattered structures, enemy soldiers taking cover among the rubble. The drone holds position for a moment, confirming the silhouettes inside the shadows. The layout is tight, with narrow passages and fallen beams, but from above the enemy positions remain exposed. The operator adjusts the drone's angle, guiding it toward the gap where the soldiers are hiding. As the drone descends, the enemies attempt to stay still, hoping the fragments of the building will shield them. But the approach continues steadily, the aircraft weaving slightly to avoid larger pieces of collapsed walls. Once perfectly aligned, the drone accelerates into the opening and delivers a precise strike that collapses the hiding spot. The drone approaches a small clearing at the edge of the tree line and spots an enemy who is stopped and crouched down, unaware of the danger above. The operator stabilizes the drone, aligns the angle, and sends it into a fast, controlled dive. The impact hits him directly from behind, ending the encounter instantly. The montage shows a long sequence of drone operations targeting enemy infantry across different landscapes. From open fields to forest edges and shattered settlements, each environment reveals new movements on the ground. The drones maintain a steady presence above the terrain, tracking figures that attempt to move quietly along trenches or tree lines. When a target is confirmed, the operator adjusts altitude and angle, guiding the drone into a controlled approach. The dives are precise and measured, reflecting the consistency of modern unmanned tactics. Other segments show drones releasing small payloads instead of making direct contact. From above, the drops land in narrow openings, beside embankments, inside damaged structures, or near camouflaged positions. Each release disrupts movement and forces nearby soldiers to abandon their locations, demonstrating how aerial systems influence ground activity even without direct impact. As the montage continues, the rhythm becomes familiar. A scan of the landscape, a brief confirmation, a calm descent, and a clean strike. The footage captures how drones operate as a persistent layer of pressure over the battlefield. They respond faster than traditional support, move independently of terrain obstacles, and reduce the ability of enemy groups to reorganize. Across all fragments, the scenes emphasize the expanding role of unmanned systems. Drones detect isolated movements, interrupt advances, and create constant uncertainty for infantry trying to hold ground. The result is a continuous record of remote, precise strikes shaping the fight from above. The extended footage continues to show how drones reshape every layer of the battlefield. As the montage shifts from one location to another, the perspective from above reveals patterns of movement that would otherwise remain hidden. Small groups of soldiers try to change positions between broken tree stumps, shallow trenches, or abandoned structures, but the drones register even subtle motions. In several clips, operators keep the drones at medium altitude, allowing them to watch the terrain without alerting the enemy too early. This patience creates opportunities. A soldier who pauses for a moment, a group gathering near a damaged vehicle, or a unit attempting to blend into vegetation. Once a clear target forms, the drone drops lower and positions itself for another strike. Some scenes highlight the coordination between multiple drones working within the same sector. While one aircraft monitors a broader area, another moves in for a close approach, ensuring no escape routes remain. These layered operations show the growing sophistication of unmanned tactics, where observation and attack blend into a seamless cycle. A number of moments in the footage capture the tension on the ground. Infantry move quickly, sometimes sprinting across open gaps, sometimes crawling between debris. The footage follows two Ukrainian tanks advancing toward a dense tree line, moving in tight coordination as they approach the edge of the planting strip. Their engines remain steady, pushing through uneven ground, while the turrets scan for hidden threats among the branches and shadows. From above, the formation looks deliberate and controlled, a slow, purposeful push into a defended area. As the tanks cross into the first row of trees, the ground shifts from open terrain to narrow, obstructed paths. Branches scrape against the armor while the crews adjust their pace, keeping the vehicles aligned so they can support each other if resistance appears. The operators remain alert, watching for signs of movement, disturbed foliage, shifting silhouettes, or flashes of muzzle fire deeper inside the strip. The tanks begin firing short bursts into likely hiding spots. The rounds tear through bushes and fallen trunks, clearing spaces where enemy infantry might be concealed. The advance continues methodically. Move a few meters, stop, observe, and fire again. In several moments, the barrels pivot quickly, reacting to something caught in the peripheral view of the cameras. Together, the two tanks create overlapping fields of fire that sweep through the narrow corridor. Their combined pressure forces any hidden enemy positions to withdraw or stay pinned down. The planting strip becomes a controlled zone, gradually pushed back as the armor continues deeper into the trees. As the clip progresses, the tanks break through several tight sections, pushing aside debris and moving further along the path. The footage reflects the kind of operations carried out by small Ukrainian assault teams as they moved through contested settlements. These missions rely on coordination, steady communication, and the ability to adapt quickly to unfamiliar layouts of streets, yards, and damaged buildings. Each narrow alley or ruined corridor becomes a place where decisions must be made in seconds. Such teams often work in tight groups, advancing one sector at a time. While one fighter observes corners and windows, another covers the rear, and the third checks doorways or gaps in the walls. Progress is slow but deliberate. Clearing even a small settlement requires attention to every movement. A shifting curtain, a loose board, or a shadow inside a room can all signal danger. These operations highlight how complex close-quarters environments have become. Urban and semi-urban areas are filled with unpredictable elements: collapsed roofs, improvised barriers, abandoned vehicles, and hidden firing positions. Each location demands calm assessment before the team moves forward. The ability to stay coordinated under pressure often determines the success of the entire mission. At the same time, such recordings show the resilience of those conducting the work. They navigate damaged streets and unstable structures while maintaining focus and communication, always aware that another team depends on their progress. Every cleared yard or intersection becomes a small step towards stabilizing the area and preventing enemy forces from regrouping. In this way, the footage is not only a record of action, but also a reminder of the steady, methodical efforts required to reclaim ground, efforts built on discipline, cooperation, and constant vigilance. Subscribe to the channel and leave a like.